Men are always to pray and not to faint. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Charakakwadash. Double honors to our elders and our apostles of Great Millstone, and a shout out to the sincere elect out there. So, men are always to pray and not to faint. That's what we're gonna talk about. I just tapped that in, and this is what it brought me up. Luke 18:1. We're gonna read the scriptures. Lord, will it be a quick, straightforward, and to the point video on this? This is just the fundamentals. This is the fundamentals. So, men ought to always pray and not to faint. Luke 18:1 is a biblical mandate from Yahushua, emphasizing persistent prayer to avoid losing heart or giving up. It teaches that consistent spiritual fellowship sustains believers, acting as a antidote to despair, discouragement, or exhaustion when facing life challenges, right? So the fundamentals are fellowship, prayer, keeping our medicine strong, as we know, right? The basic fundamentals. And you got in sports, you got those who are not necessarily the most talented in sports. A couple of examples are in my mind, but this is not about sport, but I'm just making the example. Not the most talented, not the quickest, not the fastest, but they are very good, very persistent in the gym, always in the gym, and they're very good with the fundamentals. And you might be surprised if I mentioned certain names, but they're what you call elite. They're elite in their in their um in their field of martial arts. Could be sprinting, could be obviously boxing, and various types of sports. They're very, the word here, consistent, right? Consistent and persistent. Then let's get to the scripture. We're going to come back and make some, Lord willing, once again, quick, straightforward video to the point. Just going in the foundational scriptures and fundamentals that a lot of people neglect in various fields. And we don't want to be those that do that. Matter of fact, right, this is the scripture, Luke 18:1. This is why people got something in my mind to bring out here. What is a one-hit wonder? So a one-hit wonder. An artist, band, or performer who achieves mainstream popularity for a single hit song or work, but fails to replicate that success. To keep that, all these blasted big words, to keep that success with subsequent projects becoming known solely for that momentary success. And that's what we're trying to avoid being. And it has happened. Our elders and our apostles be telling us some real life examples of it happening. You know, our elders and our apostles, and we be learning from that. What we've seen in our own short time in this truth. This is what we're trying to avoid. Yeah? That one hit wonder success, momentary success, while primarily a music term, is often described artists whose popular song overshadows their entire career. So they're known for a particular song that may get in the charts, may even be a number one in the charts, but they fall to the wayside for various reasons. All right, and we know the music industry is a farce anyway. A lot of them, we know why they fall to the wayside. They don't want to, take the bag. They don't want to bend over, and that's justified. You find out what it's all about. You don't want nothing to do with it. But we're talking about this is the truth here, all right? And let me ask another question here. Give me a list of one-hit wonders. So, yep. Soft Cell, Tainted Love, right? Some of us, we may have known these songs, we may have sung along with some of them. But here's the list here. you may have known these songs and some sung along to some of them because they reached number one, number two, or up there in the top 10. But if I ask you to name the person, like here's one example here, Los Di Rio, right, and that's the song. Um, that's the song there. Soft Cell, Tainted Love. You may know the song, but you may not know the artist because the reason is because they was just known for a particular song, not known for a song or just the songs known, but they fell by the wayside. Here, let me see if I can find one that I know. Right, here's one. Vanilla Ice, Ice, Ice Baby. What happened to Vanilla Ice? Anyway, just to make the point, he was a one-hit wonder, right? And if you ask me, he wasn't that good. He wasn't a good dancer. He wasn't a good singer. Yes, he was a white boy. Yes, he was a Jake. In my opinion, I believe so. But he was a one-hit wonder. For whatever reason, he fell by the wayside. He didn't have the image, or maybe he had the image, but he didn't have the talent. He didn't want to bend over. But one thing we do know, he didn't go the whole hog. He was a one-hit wonder. He fell by the wayside. Now, in the truth, now we don't want to be a one-hit wonder, right? And there's a way to avoid it. Let's get to the scripture, Luke, because as we know, as a matter of fact, as it says here, if we're going to pray, we've got to be persistent. And we've got an example here, which is one of the best examples in the scriptures, and there's others too, of this particular person who was very persistent. Let's read up to 8. Right, the parable on prayer. And he spoke, Lord willing, this is going to be a quick video, straight forward and to the point. The parable on prayer, Luke 18:1 says, and he spoke a parable unto them, to this end that men always to pray and not to faint, saying, there was in a city a judge which feared not thou power, neither regarded man, and there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me, O mine adversary, of mine adversaries. And he would not for a while, but afterward he said within himself, though I fear not God, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubled me, I will avenge her, least by her continuing coming she weary me. She was nagging, right? You got them nagging women, brothers, who got their woman. If you came across, who ever had a nagging woman, that woman, man, she drive you to, you might, some men, let me say some men, they end up doing time, right? Because that nagging woman was driving around the bend for whatever reason, you know. But the point is, yes, this kept troubling me, I will avenge her, at least by her continuing coming she weary me, right? This is an unrighteous judge. And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge said. Yes, simple and plain, self-explanatory. And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? Right? There it is, question mark. So an unrighteous judge couldn't take it no more, and he relented, and he gave her justice. How much more so a righteous judge, Yehoshua, our righteous judge, Yehoshua. So what's the word I want? There's one word. There was one word I looked at, and would not fail. But afterward he said within himself, though I fear not God. So I spoke unto a parable to this end, that men always to pray and not to faint. Right, so the word there, that's the one. Always. And that's another word for persistent. But let's see what Blue Letter says. Always. So that's G3842. And you only really need one scripture for this one. This point here. At all times, always. Yep. That's it. Right? We've got other scriptures there that back us up on this particular point. As a matter of fact, let's hit one of them here. First Thessalonians 5. Right, here it is. First Thessalonians 5, we've got it here. Let's go to it. So we're going to read 5 and 6. It says, rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing. Right? It gives you what you need, right? And that's just the fundamentals. Fundamentals. There's a saying: a right hand would take you around the ring. A good right hand would take you around the ring, right? That's a phrase that's coined in the boxing sport of boxing. But a good jab will take you around the world, right? And yes, that's the fundamentals. Having a good jab. So a prayer, rejoice evermore. We need to have a certain amount. Yes, we are chaffed in the spirit, but we do have joy. We do have joy. Rejoice evermore. Why? Because Yahushua right now is at the right hand side of Yahweh, and he's putting in a good word for us, making petition for us. So we can rejoice in that fact there, right there. He's got his lick back, and he's got his justice, and he ain't forgot us. We rejoice in that, just meditating on that, just that point right there. Rejoice evermore. Yahushua has got his lick back, right? And that's in Revelation 1 and 7. He gonna get those that pierced him. We rejoice in that, and what he had to endure while he was on the earth, and he hasn't forgot his elect, right? That's why we continue to pray, right, and cry out to him. He hears us. He relates to us, and what we look at that as the example. And pray without ceasing. Pray without ceasing. All right, another word right there. G89. Without intermission, incessantly without ceasing. There you have it, Akim. There you have it, man. That's the video, right? But it's something. A good jab will take you around the world. A nice right hand you may get a knockout here and there, right? You may not get a knockout with a good right hand. But if you have a good jab, persistent, consistent, going to take you around the world. So we're relating that in righteousness, prayer, because we ain't trying to be no one hit wonders out here. Right? We ain't trying to be no one hit like these particular artists. Some of them, most of them, you don't remember them. Achieve mainstream popularity for a single hit song or work, but fails to replicate that success with subsequent projects becoming known solely for that momentary success. Right? As we know, the elders, our apostles, be telling us about a lot of these, and it can happen in the truth. You can be here today, and we ain't trying to do that as a one hit wonder. And we also got this persistent widow who understood how law works. She just understood. I just got to keep on nagging. She understood that. And some women just know what monkey know which tree to climb. Right, that's an old parable. Monkey know which tree to climb. This widow knew that judge. If I continue at him, he's going relent. I'm going to be relentless, and he's going car down and give me what I want, justice. But we have a good reason. What reason do we have to be persistent and consistent? We have a good reason, because Yahushua done laid the groundwork for us already. Right? Rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing. Yahushua has already laid the groundwork for us on this particular subject, and he gave us examples too. As a matter of fact, I've got another example. Let's get another example. One more. Like I say, ain't trying to be no long video. Just a quick one before I hit the road. We want another one. Daniel. Yep, that's the one. The Wali of Hashim Shai. We're going to read from. We're going to read into this a bit. I remember this. I'm gonna bring it back to the forefront of my mind. Something I remember earlier on in the truth. I used to read this regular. Daniel 6, and we want to start with we'll sit with 5. It says, "Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law." Right. So Daniel's serves Darius. Right. So these men, we shall find no adversary, any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. These men, presidents and princes, assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdoms, the governors, the princes, the counselors, and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree. Yeah, these were those cruel lords in them days, which the king was reasonable, but you had the counselors, the presidents, and the princes. They came up with an unrighteous decree. When you read on, let's read into that. Firm decree that whosoever, here it is, shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save 3, O king, he shall be cast unto the dens of lions. You see how wicked and subtle these devils are, right? And they're behind the scenes now. They're coming up with some decrees. The cruel lord over there in Babylon, right? Trump, Nero 47, and also Keir Starmer over here with what's going on, as we know, with the big nose people with the small hats, with all their false flags that we know they're false flags, right? Because they're coming up with some schemes and decrees, unrighteous decrees, right? So we're gonna see, right? But we're gonna wait upon the Lord regardless, right, and see how it plays out with faith, right? Putting in the as Daniel. Let's read on. Right? O king, ye shall be cast unto the dens of the lions, yet that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of the free, 33 days, 30 days save of free, O king, he shall be cast unto the dens of lions. Yep. Now, O king, establish a decree and sign that writing. Yeah, they want it officially in writing. They want it in pen, in ink, in black ink, or in, as it's saying there, right? To make it official. That it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Right, so we got an unrighteous decree. Right, they're the cruel lords of those days, the princes and the presidents. Here's the point here. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went unto his house, and his widows, his widows, was signed. He went unto his house, and his window being opened in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled. Right. That didn't faze him because he understood the importance of the fundamentals. He kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed, right, and gave thanks. Did it discourage him? No, it actually encouraged him. Right, gave thanks before his God as he did aforetime. Right. So that didn't set him off. That didn't rock his world. As a matter of fact, it encouraged him even more. Right. Now, when you look in, the more you think about it, those devils, they knew where his power came from, so they tried to cut it off. But all it did was motivate Daniel. Oh, you know where my power come from. You think I'm gonna let that? I'm gonna let you take away my power? I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna go even harder. I'm gonna go even harder. Right? Just like imagine it's like your enemy. You're gonna go into a fight, and then someone comes and whispers in your ear, right? Take the fool. And this happened. This did happen in boxing. in the early 50s, you know, the 40s, and the, you know, going into the history of boxing, they say take the fall, right? Don't train, take a fall, take a dive. Are you gonna take a dive? If we take a dive, which means don't pray, cut off from your power, you ain't gonna have the strength to fight, right? You ain't gonna have the strength to fight, and that's the fundamentals. You don't take a dive to please your enemy, to take the bag, as some have, and they've become what? One hit wonders. So we ain't taking no bag and we ain't taking no dive in the ring, regardless whatever decrees they come up with. With the power and the spirit of Yahweh Shai Shai, we know the importance. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying, making supplication before his God. Right, you see? Yeah, and you got the rest of it. Then they came near and spoke before the king concerning the king's decrees. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save, O thee king, save, O thee, O king, shall be cast unto the dens of lions? King, the king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which alive not. Right, so anyway, we know the story, the end result. Right, Daniel in the lion's den. He went into the lion's den. Now, let me just hit the point, right? Let me just hit the point. What happened when he went into the lion's god? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. Live forever. My God hath sent his angel when he was in the lion's den, right? Just to make the point, and shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me, forasmuch as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Right. So it was it went out around the world for a powerful witness to all you um, that may have been getting frail. As a matter of fact, is here today to remind us. Don't let no one give you the bag, and don't be no one-hit wonder, and don't neglect the fundamentals of the game. Don't neglect the fundamentals of the game, which is what? Pray without ceasing. Until the next one, Akim. Lord willing, it was edified. Pray without ceasing. There you have it, Akim. Till the next one.